Hello students, this is the second video on the atomic structure. In the last video we have seen about the Rutherford's model, the alpha scattering experiment, and in this video we will study about the Bohr's atomic model. In the last video we have seen what was the drawbacks of Rutherford model, and the main drawback was that when an electron would revolve around a orbit, the electron, being a charged particle, according to the electromagnetic theory, would radiate energy and finally would collapse in the nucleus. But this doesn't happen, and the stability of atom was hence not explained by Rutherford. Bohr combined the classical and early quantum concepts and gave his theory in the form of three postulates. First postulate. Bohr's first postulate was that electron in an atom would revolve in certain stable orbit without the emission of radiant energy, which means that if an electron is revolving in any orbit, then the energy of the electron will be fixed. Actually, we will see later that energy is of the orbit, and that is why these orbits are called energy levels, and the energy of the electrons were fixed in every orbit, means every orbit has a definite energy level. Now we are coming to the second postulate. The second postulate states that an electron can revolve in only that orbit such that the angular momentum of electron is a integral multiple of h by 2 pi, where h is nothing but Planck's constant. And thus Bohr has quantized the angular momentum, means the angular momentum of an electron cannot have any values. It can be h by 2 pi, 2h by 2 pi, 3h by 2 pi, 4h by 2 pi, 5h by 2 pi, and so on. It cannot have 1.5h by 2 pi or 7.8h by 2 pi. So angular momentum is always an integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So in general we can write, for any orbit, means an electron can be found in only that orbit where MBR is equal to nh by 2 pi, and where n is the principal quantum number. Actually it is the number of the orbit. First orbit n is 1, second orbit n is 2, and so on. Now let's come to the third postulate. The third postulate tells that electron might make a transition from one of the specified non-radiating orbit to another of lower energy. When it does so, a photon is emitted from energy equal to the energy difference between the initial and final. Means suppose an electron is found in the third orbit and it comes to the second orbit. Now suppose the energy level of third orbit is x and the energy level of second orbit is y. So what is the difference in energy? X minus y. This x minus y joule or electron volt energy will be given out in the form of a light photon. So we can say that the frequency of the emitted photon h nu is equal to energy of the first initial energy orbit minus final energy orbit. From here we can get the energy of the photon. The energy of the photon which is emitted due to the transition of an electron. So when we see a transition of electron from higher orbit to lower orbit, there will be a emission of photon, okay, and the energy of the photon will be given by this formula, EI minus EF, energy in the higher orbit minus energy of the lower orbit. This difference in energy will be transmitted in the form of h nu. Okay, Bohr's theory. Bohr's theory is valid for such atoms which have a single nucleus like hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms like He plus, Li2 plus here. So See, this is an atom this is a nucleus of having a positive charge of Ze. Z is the atomic number, and this is a single electron revolving around the nucleus. Now we know that for a body to revolve in a circular path, there is the requirement of a centripetal force. And here the electrostatic attraction between the electron and the nucleus will provide the necessary centripetal force. So mv square by r, that is the centripetal force, is equal to the Coulombic force 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. So q1 is what? The charge of the nucleus. q2 is the charge of the electron by r square, the radius of the orbit, that is the distance or radius. From here we get mv square is equal to this one r will get cancelled. So this mv square is equal to z square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Now we know that according to the second postulate, as we seen just now, mvr should be nh by 2 pi. So if we square this and divide with this equation, we are getting the formula of r. R is equal to n square h square epsilon naught by pi m z e square. Epsilon naught pi m z e square. Z is what? The atomic number of the atom. That is the number of protons. This is equation tells us, gives the radius of the permitted orbit. And here we see that r, the radius, is proportional to n square. Means since n equal to 1 to 3, the radius of the ratio, the orbit will increase in the ratio 1:4:9. Means suppose if from the ratio of the radii of 1 and 2 will be first orbit radius by second orbit radius will be 1:4. First orbit radius by third orbit radius will be 1:9, this way, okay, because radius is proportional to n square. Okay, Bohr radius. So from here, if we put n equal to 1, and as for hydrogen we know that atomic number of hydrogen is also 1, then this will become the first atomic radius of hydrogen atom. Will putting z equal to 1, n equal to 1, we get h square epsilon naught by pi m e square. This is what? The radius of the, okay, this is called the Bohr radius, and its value is 0.53 angstrom. Since r proportional to n square, the radius of the second orbit of the hydrogen will be 4 times. Okay, as we have seen just now, r proportional to n square. So if this is the radius of the first orbit of hydrogen, then the radius of the second orbit will be into 4, radius of third orbit will be into 9, radius of fourth orbit will be into 16, and this way. Okay, now velocity. We can obtain the formula of velocity from the permitted orbit as, see, we have written here that mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. From here we can write v equal to nh by 2 pi mr. Okay, and putting the value of r of equation 3, that is this one, by putting this value here, we will get the velocity of electron to be this. So we see that velocity of electron is inversely proportional to the atomic number. Okay, means the velocity of electron is maximum in the first orbit, and as we go to the higher orbit away from the nucleus, the velocity of electrons will decrease. Okay, energy of electron in a stationary orbit. So we have seen that mv square equal to z square. Kinetic energy is what? Half mv square. So half of this, that is what? So 2 4 is 8. So z square by this is what? The kinetic energy. If we put the value of r that we have obtained earlier, so this will become the kinetic energy. In terms of Rydberg constant, now this constant me to the power 4 8 epsilon naught ch cube, this constant is called r, whose value is, we will see just now. So by putting the value, we are going to see that this kinetic energy will become a small value, formula RHc by n square. Now potential energy is 1 this potential energy is actually the electrostatic potential energy formula that we have studied in the electrostatics Coulomb's law chapter. Okay, so potential energy formula is what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R. So here we are getting this potential energy. So this is the kinetic energy and this is the potential energy. So total energy, because this electron is revolving in when electron is actually where? In the electric field of the nucleus. So it will, and it is in motion, obviously revolving, so it will have both energy, kinetic and potential. So total energy will be, if you add these two, we are getting the potential energy. This is in terms of the RSC, putting the value of R. So if we add this we are getting minus RSC by n square. So, and in place of R, in place of small r, we put the value of small r that we have obtained earlier. So we are getting E is equal to this. Now if we put the values of all the standard values, and so we are getting E is equal to minus 13.6 electron volt. The negative, so we can see the energy is negative, means energy of an electron in the nth orbit. This denotes the energy of electron in the nth orbit, and as it is Z equal to 1 we have taken, so this is the formula for energy of hydrogen atom in the electron, okay, hydrogen atom electron in the nth orbit, because we have taken here Z equal to 1 and hydrogen only has Z equal to 1. Negative energy, see, you can see a minus sign here. It shows that electron is bound to the nucleus. Electron is bound to the nucleus, it is not free. And it also means that if you want to free the electron, means if you want to ionize the electron, then we have to apply this much amount of energy. Okay, so this is all about the Bohr's theory. In the next video, we are going to see about the energy levels and the hydrogen spectrum.